It is Thursday, the 17th day of November 2022. Hello there and welcome to our first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. On sign language, it is Mugalu Mohammed and I am Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma, and we are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, 99% of Ugandan products will access the United Kingdom market next year without being taxed. Now, this was revealed by the UK trade envoy to Uganda, Lord Dola Popat, during the Afro-Indian Business Summit held at Speak Resort, Munyonyo. President Yoweri Museveni, who officiated the opening of the event, regretted the Asian expulsion by Idi Amin in 1972, encouraging Indians to invest more in Uganda. Henry Crot reports.
So it's a sure deal.
To celebrate 100 years of the Indian Association in Uganda, the Indian business community converged at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala. They were here to appreciate the current investment climate in the country. Testimony after testimony, Indians reported progress.
Our stake can be summarized as 3 P's: peaceful, pleasant, and profitable.
Between 2015 and 2020, Uganda Investment Authority licensed 228 Indian investment projects valued at 464.5 million, accumulating in nearly 20,000 jobs.
For several decades now, the Indian community has played a significant role in the socio-economic development of Uganda.
Ugandan government officials could not agree less with the return of Indians and the repossession of their property being contributory to the current investment success.
Your Excellency, the good news I want to give you is that because of your directive, as I speak, we have returned 4,063 properties to the Asian community. Your Excellency, we are very, very happy because that decision you took, I must say, is the reason as to why today we talk about 1,139 Indian-owned factories in Uganda.
It was at this same event that it was revealed that Ugandan products would access the market of the United Kingdom without taxes.
I can announce today that from next year, despite the fact we haven't signed a trade deal, from next year, 99% of Uganda's export to the UK will be duty-free.
President Yoweri Museveni, who had arrived earlier and toured exhibitions, shared his experience of the Indian development capacity.
We found some Africans, and some of them were in the parliament. We had a parliament called NRC, National Resistance Council. And some of our members were sitting in Indian shops. I told these people, get out of those shops. Because it is immoral, it is also not strategic. Because it is immoral, because why do you take somebody's property?
He regretted the expulsion of Asians in 1972 by Idi Amin, citing it as a factor for the country's economic stagnation at the time.
It was not strategic. My question to them was, how can you call new investors? You new investors, you come. Uganda is good for you. When the old investors are crying that you stole their property, how will you do that?
This, however, he says, will never happen in Uganda as the country embraces investment for development.
There are some countries which I visited, and I told them, I said, you people, you will be in trouble. I don't want to mention the countries, because I'm also Minister of Foreign Affairs. They would say, you can't invest here unless you get a local partner first. What's that for? You can see, what are you looking for? What if there is no local partner? What happens? Or if the local partner is a bad one? What are you looking for? That means that these people didn't see that the mere act of investing in an economy is a very big act of support. And benefits will come to the country whether the investor is a Ugandan or non-Ugandan.
He encouraged more Indians to come and invest in Uganda.
There's one area where I would want to invite people. This is the area of fertilizers, because now people are crying that because of the war in Ukraine, the price of fertilizer has gone up in the world. But here, we have got a very high grade phosphate deposit, more than 200 million tons of phosphate ore in Lord Poppert's area of Tororo. So I invite people to invest in the phosphates. We had invited a Chinese group, but I think they got problems financially. So that area is there.
The two-day business summit is part of commemorations to mark 100 years of Indian Association in Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
President Museveni wooing Indian investors there to come and do business in Uganda. Now, government is in final stages of reviewing the public service standing orders to streamline service delivery in the country. Now, this was revealed during a feedback planning meeting organized by the Office of the Prime Minister held at the President's Conference Hall. The service delivery accountability field trips were a directive from the President instructing Prime Minister Robin Anabanja to conduct accountability barazas that are meant to establish how funds sent from government were being spent. Let's get a lot more in this one.
The Attorney General Senior Counsel Kiijanangoma says that these public service standing orders are like an operational manual and not reflected in the laws of Uganda at all. It was agreed that some civil servants are hiding in the public service standing orders to underperform, knowing that they are protected by the law as permanent and pensionable.
But all the other laws in Uganda affect public servants like anyone else. This thing of permanent and pensioners, they can be removed.
The Prime Minister Robin Anabanja held a meeting to review service delivery and accountability field trips so far conducted in Greater Luweero, Mpigi, Wakiso and Mukono districts. The Prime Minister called for teamwork between political leaders and permanent secretaries to ensure smooth delivery of services to the people.
Because for me, I didn't know that there was even protecting for sports in my district. Mukasa is saying, enough is enough. We are going to provide ourselves and move.
During the service delivery accountability field trips, it was observed that there was lack of transparency about available resources sent by government to the districts. The government technical officers were faulted for hiding such vital information.
They start from central government, they connect with the local government, and they eat this money together.
Let's bite. The teeth are there, we have them, and so on. I don't know why we are not even biting. Let's bite these people.
So for us to begin to come here and begin lamenting, when we have the entire structure of government, which is my considered opinion, if you organize the structure, just 1 month is enough to clean up the entire mess which we have in the government, and the population will begin to feel what it is. The Attorney General is here, like you've guided him.
Lack of transparency means that spending of government resources is done in the dark. This has promoted corruption, bribery, and shoddy work. To ensure transparency and accountability, it was recommended that there was need to deal firmly with cases of corruption by punishing culprits.
the need for proper guidelines to the districts. And what are the complaints from the districts? Inadequate guidelines, especially on procurement. So we need to review some of the programs, especially UGIFT and USMID. There is a lot of money, and the complaint is inadequate guidelines, and the guidelines given are not linked to the decentralization framework.
We must take this approach, even to Parliament, and ensure that if we are moving as a government, we move as a government. And the leader of opposition will come from among ourselves because of failing to monitor the monies we are sending for service delivery.
This service delivery accountability program is scheduled to be rolled out throughout the country. Ministers and members of parliament will be mobilized in regions to participate in this exercise, like it was the case with parish development model sensitization.
This was an intervention which had a purpose to make sure that members of parliament play a role in their constituencies. We need to revitalize the district roads committees.
Among those who attended included the 3rd Deputy Prime Minister, a cross-section of ministers and permanent secretaries.
Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has applauded health workers for their effort to curb the spread of Ebola virus disease, imploring them to continue with the spirit. This was in her message delivered by the Minister of State for Works and Transport, Kiijanangoma Fred, at the installation of the first Chancellor of Mildmay Institute of Health Sciences.
Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha, has urged healthy workers to stick on the vows they took while taking office. This follows recent strikes by healthy workers abandoning their core responsibility of saving lives before profits. She also applauded the Ministry of Health for fighting Ebola.
To appreciate and salute all the frontline health workers for their efforts in fighting COVID-19 and the Ebola pandemics. Government will continue to offer all necessary support to have these outbreaks contained. Also, Mama says, as government, we will ensure that it is supported and developed in line with the ministry's strategic objectives.
In another development, Mildmay Institute of Health Science has installed the first Chancellor ever for the institute, Dr. Reverend Professor Sam Luboga.
His influence he has once again bestowed on me today. I promise to use all the lessons that God has taught me along the long journey that has brought me this far and may soon lead me to the next success he has prepared for me, to influence the growth and development of Mildmay Institute of Health Sciences.
Edith Akankwa, principal at the Mildmay Institute of Health Science, asked graduates to exercise their professionalism and always take on every opportunity.
We congratulate you for the far that you have come and challenge you to put in practice the knowledge and skills acquired with humility, professionalism, and hard work.
I am more than confident that you put to good use the knowledge and skills you have acquired at Mildmay Institute of Health Sciences.
I think they should at least provide the available PPE materials because we are so exposed to the diseases.
I'm not going to rely on my pay salary as from my profession. I'm going to start a business which will help me.
Irene Faith Nantongo, Dan Lugemwa, UBC News.
Chiefs of Defense Intelligence from East African Community partner states have met at Protea Skies Hotel to discuss security issues affecting their respective nations and the region as a whole. The two-day meeting focused on adopting new measures in managing the volatile security environment, a proper assessment of the security risks, and a conducive environment platform to enhance defense cooperation. Haruna Mtesa Sira reports.
The Deputy Chief of Defence Forces, Lieutenant General Peter Elwell, in his opening remarks, noted that the meeting comes at a time when the region is experiencing dynamic environmental threats that present major challenges.
Past one another and be able to look into these threats objectively and find ways of handling them as a region. As Africa, we have so many challenges, but it is only us that can sort out these problems. And with you at the front line, we should be able to deal with all these problems which are facing our region.
Elwell explained that without intelligence, the region cannot do much.
You should be able to share all what is affecting us, especially in our own countries, to be able to share and see how best we can solve them together as a region. Because today, whatever affects Uganda affects the rest of the region.
Major General James Birungi, Uganda's Chief of Military Intelligence and the chair of the meeting, noted that Uganda, like any other country, continues to be affected by global security dynamics, including the constant changing and transition nature of threats.
Addressing these threats requires new ways of thinking and strategies, as well as closer partnerships with all stakeholders at different levels. It is my hope that this forum will contribute to the overall efforts of ensuring peace and stability in the region and beyond.
Uganda, on its part, continues to support all initiatives geared towards the regional stability and seek the support of other partner states and stakeholders. In attendance were representatives from the Republic of Djibouti, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea, Rwanda, South Sudan, Sudan, and Tanzania. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Vice President Jessica Alupo has urged Ugandans to expand production and crop research to meet the increasing global demand for the country's products. The Vice President made the remarks today at the opening of the first ever UAE-Uganda Investment Forum at Kampala Sheraton Hotel.
Before officially opening the first ever United Arab Emirates Uganda Investment Forum at Sheraton Hotel Kampala today, Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo was led on a guided tour of stalls by investors from United Arab Emirates, Kenya, Uganda, among others, that displayed a variety of processed goods ranging from food to machinery. Flanked by the Minister of Trade and Cooperatives, Francis Mwebesa, the Vice President assured the investors of Uganda's commitment to putting in place a conducive political and regulatory environment for the competitiveness of the private sector, adding that government remains open for investments in all key sectors.
Let me welcome all of you to the launch of the United Arab Emirates and the East African Trade Mission taking place for the first time in Uganda. I think it's a very big milestone that we are making. We are very privileged to host you, and we are very comfortable with you. We are a private sector-led economy. We would support the private sector. I have been in the meetings of Africa. Our president is known as the champion of integration. And one of the reasons why he is a champion of integration is that he wants people to have huge market, wide market, large market for their products so that they can solve their problems. So that makes this meeting very important. We learn small things and add value here, then you also learn some things and go and add value the other side. The summit is now officially open.
Minister of Trade and Cooperatives Francis Mwebesa said huge opportunities lie in Africa to produce for the global market. He noted that partnerships are now possible with the coming into place of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which guarantees market access for Ugandan products with a market potential of about 1.3 billion people. In her remarks, Blessing Owomugisha, the Secretary General of Uganda Chamber of Commerce, said that the fruitful participation and interaction will create useful business partnerships that will enable Africa to market their products as a bloc and become an influential player in the global market. It is envisaged that global production and consumption of agricultural products will continue to increase over the next decade, driven by rising population and demand in developing and emerging countries, especially India, China, and Middle East, including United Arab Emirates. Etole Ed Archangel, UBC News.
Thanks, Etole Archangel, for that report there. Now, police in Kampala Metropolitan have recovered a gun and 22 rounds of ammunition from a pit latrine in Chireka, a Kampala suburb. The police spokesperson, Kampala Metropolitan, Patrick Onyango, has confirmed that this gun was stolen on the 14th of November 2022 at night from a police officer's house in Chireka. One suspect, Khalid John, aged 34 years, a resident of Kamocha Kisalo Saro, has been arrested. Details in this report.
It's alleged on the 14th of November 2022 at around 8 p.m. unknown thugs broke into the house of one of the police officers within the Skireka barracks. Unfortunately, one of the victims woke up, chased the thieves, and managed to cut one on the head with a panga. But still the thief escaped using a waiting border bike. The thief is reported to have left for treatment at Naguru China Hospital. However, police managed to get information from a border rider who is reported to have ferried the thief to the hospital for treatment. According to police reports, the border rider returned to the scene of crime to establish what exactly had happened to the person he transported to the hospital in critical conditions. The border rider, upon established the facts surrounding the person he transported to the hospital bleeding, he led the people to the hospital, and the thief was identified as Khalid John, aged 34 years, a casual worker and resident of Kamocha Kisosoro zone. Khalid is reported to have been arrested from hospital. However, the police search established presence of the national ID of the police officer whose gun had been stolen in the pocket of Khalid, together with 5 live ammunitions. Khalid led the police to Kireka barracks, where the gun was recovered in a pit latrine. The suspect is currently at Jinja Road Police Station. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
Parliament has set tough conditions amidst passing a loan request by government to fund efforts of enhancing digital revolution in Uganda. Now, this follows a report presented by the Committee on National Economy, which was passed with some recommendations in a session chaired by Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among.
Parliament has handed the ball back to the courts of the executive to weigh in on the implication of surrendering the independency of National Information Technology (NITA-U) as government finalizes the rationalization move. The MPs notice that such a move could cause a dent in the economy, considering the various agreements with development partners, including the International Association of the World Bank.
And as long as the loan has been obtained and is still being used for that purpose, then NITA-U will not go. At least that is what Parliament has decided. And I believe the executive will have no choice but to comply.
In a presentation of the findings by a Committee on National Economy regarding a loan request of up to $200 million to fund the Uganda Digital Acceleration Project Government Network, Bukedea County Member of Parliament Ikojo John Bosco asserts the repercussions of repealing the NITA-U Act with a view that it would disable intended loan.
The Attorney General should ensure that the final text of the financing agreement is clear so that the effect of mainstreaming NITA-U into the ministry without causing any loss to government.
The committee reveals that NITA-U has proved its capacity to independently manage the national backbone infrastructure and hence needs the necessary support. Whereas the committee had noticed that the implementation of the project activities will be channeled through a steering committee chaired by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, Parliament noticed a conflict of interest described as ambiguity which may influence corruption tendencies, hence deleting the clause in the report through a motion raised by Muwanga Chivumbi, the Shadow Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development.
The loan was structured is that the minister will have that supervisory role, but the actual implementation will be done by NITA-U, and move to delete 12 of 1 and 12 of 2. And then we leave the project implementation unit, which is NITA-U, and which shall have the project management.
Parliament, chaired by Speaker Anita Among, wants government to provide Wi-Fi spots at all learning institutions and sub-county spots in order to utilize the benefits of national backbone infrastructure and also generate revenue to government. This is not the first loan request to fund Uganda Digital Acceleration Government Network, although the cost of internet remains disputed by a section of the business community in Uganda.
Government has to date invested over $175 million in the national backbone infrastructure.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety of Police says the recently intensified crackdown on errant motorists, especially border raiders, has started paying off. Kauma Sereko-Rogers, the KMP traffic commander, says so far the operation has seen more of motorists, mainly border raiders, appreciating the importance of wearing crash helmets and reflector jackets for safety.
On 7th November, the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety Police renewed efforts to check on the many fatal accidents that allegedly accrue from avoidable and reckless mannerisms of errant motorists across the country. With the launch, motorists operating in Kampala Central Business Area were top on the list of culprits. A week later, the crackdown has been praised for restoring sanity.
I want to report that we are happy about what is happening now in the city. So many riders are compliant. You see them with their helmets and their reflector jackets.
Kampala Metropolitan Police Traffic Commander ASP Kauma Sereko sings praises for compliant motorists, at the same time cautioning those who are non-compliant to behave accordingly.
Call upon all of them to ensure that they make this as a discipline whenever they are coming on road, knowing that they should be armed with their reflector jacket and a helmet. It's for their safety, it's not for the safety of the officers on the road, no.
ASP Kauma also shed light on the rules governing public transport systems.
For a taxi is a 14-seater license. You get it. Or for a border, it is a 1-seater license. But you find them carrying 2 people, 3, while it is not permitted by law.
Recently, the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety of Police started releasing accident footages captured on CCTVs for public consumption. Kampala Metropolitan Police Traffic Commander ASP Kauma says, as a directorate, they would love to display these footages on street screens for the benefit of motorists, but lack of resources to pay for the screens stands in their way.
You know, displaying on these billboards in the city, it takes money. Yeah, so Maybe we can get some development partners who will want to come aboard on things to do with road safety and maybe support us in that line. It will be a very good idea.
According to police reports, in a period of 9 months, over 1,000 border riders died in road crashes, taking with them about 400 passengers. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
It's coming to 33 minutes after 8 in the studios of UBC TV. We'll now take a short break and return with much more.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165*77# or use the Momo app to register. Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe? That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 20th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music Your Africa, your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Ton Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165*77# or use the Momo app to register.
Welcome back from that break, and this is the first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. And on sign language, it is Mugalu Mohammed, and I am Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. President Yoweri Museveni has suspended all the interim leadership of public markets across Kampala and its metropolitan with immediate effect. Now, this directive follows the president's meeting with Kampala leaders at an engagement held on Wednesday, the 16th of November 2022. In attendance was the Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honourable Robina Nabanja. Robert Onyango reports.
On Wednesday, 16th November 2022, President Yoweri Museveni convened the Kampala leaders meeting after just 2 weeks when he held the last meeting. The meeting was attended by the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, the ministers of Kampala, City Executive Director, among other leaders. Top on the agenda was resolving the contained leadership market wrangles around Kampala Metropolitan.
His Excellency the President Yoweri Museveni has issued further directives on the management of government markets in Kampala in a meeting held yesterday at State House.
Addressing media the Thursday evening in Kampala, the ministers in charge of Kampala in company of the City Executive Director, Dorothy Chisaka, shares the details of the engagements.
The President directed as follows. 1. Market leadership in all public markets in Kampala is disbanded and should, with immediate effect, hand over the operations of the markets to the Executive Director, KCCA, to the Executive of KCCA. KCCA will deploy staff at all government markets who will guide the market vendors on the immediate steps to be taken so that they can carry on their activities. Vendors shall pay periodic rental fees, either monthly or annually. This will depend on Cabinet information paper which we are going to present on Monday.
According to the resolutions, was the decision to mandate KCCA for the full management of public markets within Kampala Metropolitan.
According to the directive, and as the press statement has been given by the Minister, the leadership by the current interim committees that were placed there in 2021 should come back, is coming back to KCCA. We are going to have a process where they will hand over to our task force on markets so that we can place the new leadership of KCCA in these places.
That question concerning Suzanne and other people in courts, just term them as, see them as bracelets which were lent to them. Now the owner is claiming his bracelets or her bracelets. She should just hand over the hand, spread the hand for the owner, KCCA, to remove the bracelets, period.
The President also redirected the city administrators to heed to his earlier directive of setting up 2 public markets in 5 divisions of Kampala.
KCC should establish 2 markets per division as part of provision of workspaces for vendors and hawkers evicted from the streets. KCC, in collaboration with State House, should establish 1 skilling center per division for youth skilling and job creation. The yard at Kiseka Market is strictly for vendors in mechanics, hardware, and not any other category of vendors.
For Susan Kushaba, the former Owino Market self-proclaimed supreme leader, the president's directive has however been distorted by the messengers, though she accepts that when the right time comes, she will step aside.
But His Excellency said we can work with KCCA because there are problems that the vendors want to be solved, which cannot be solved by KCCA. Because KCCA cannot recommend a vendor to get a loan, but I have been recommending.
Susan Kushaba, who has been at the helm of the leadership of St. Bali Kudembe alias Owino Market, is however convinced that if given an opportunity, she is still willing to shift responsibility.
And I have an association. We have a SACCO. It has to run. We have the youth SACCO. It has to run. So, but the administration will be for KCCA.
We want peace and order in all markets, all the 16 markets. One sounding market might be a Owino market, but all markets.
The president is moved to streamline the 16 markets operation in Kampala Metropolitan. He is aimed at easing tension and creating better operating environment which has been sterile for quite some time and mainly arising from leadership gaps. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries has handed over 930,200 doses of foot and mouth disease vaccines to 22 districts in the cattle corridor. Handing over the vaccines, Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Frank Tumwebaze, said they will be able to adopt the ring vaccination strategy of precautionary management of the disease.
Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Frank Tumwebaze, has cautioned district veterinary officers against imposing illegal charges for vaccination to farmers. Tumwebaze made the remarks while handing over vaccines of foot and mouth disease destined to the cattle corridor, saying the business of charging poor farmers vaccines that are already paid for by government must stop.
Government is investing whatever it can to ensure that your crops, to ensure that your animals, and to ensure that your fish resources are safe. All we need and ask you as farmers is compliance and discipline. Why do we vaccinate against FMD? First of all, we are lucky that we can vaccinate against it. There are some diseases which are not vaccinatable. This one is. And we are now aggressively kicking out FMD in Uganda.
The minister said the foot and mouth disease vaccine will give livestock farmers strong foundations that will enable them compete favorably in the regional and international market.
I'd like to send a message and appeal to our trading partners that we are eradicating FMD in our country through periodic and regular vaccination. And soon we shall be rolling out even a much bigger program of making vaccination mandatory. As long as we sort the budgets and the lines of vaccines, one may ask, why is government the ones involved in giving these vaccines? Why are we not liberalizing the sector? We've been refusing to do that because biological substances are not an easy good to allow anybody to trade in.
The district veterinary officer, Mpigi District, Dr. Daniel Kasibule, appreciated government for the timely interventions geared towards launching Uganda to the external market.
Honorable Minister, we are hereby assuring you that as the veterinarians, we are going to supply this vaccine in a timely fashion, convenient fashion, whereby farmers will get covered. All the animals will be covered timely to ensure that this disease disappears from our flock.
We have a lot of market and people asking for market in the Middle East for our livestock, especially the small ruminants. We are already taking meat to other countries like Oman. So we need to work together as a team. The veterinary profession, if you have not worked before, work hard now, because our contribution to the GDP must increase.
Veterinary officers were implored to do the work well to boost Uganda's access to lucrative dairy markets and eventually kick out foot and mouth disease from Uganda. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The Minister for Presidency, Millie Babalanda, has challenged the Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation to strategize their investment, targeting private sector to maximize profit and expand in scope. UPPC decried high competition from private players in the market. This was revealed at the marking of 120 years of existence in providing printing services to Ugandans and in the region.
Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation is mandated to print and publish all government literature. In the modern printing business, the corporation is shifting the mode of operation to tap into the private sector to get profits.
But the private sector can only associate with you if they get to know you and you also present yourself professionally to them.
At the marking of 120 years of existence, the Minister for Presidency, Millie Babalanda, has challenged corporation management to move by dynamism towards money-generating strategies.
Results-oriented and business-minded. Unlike in the past, UPPC is strong and can now move on independently with less of our worry.
The corporation intends to move digital to reach a wide scope of potential clientele, especially private sector.
What is a whole sales and marketing team, which is charged with the responsibility of bringing in clients, bringing in business. And lately we are developing a new sales and marketing policy. We want to revamp that department and make sure that it is as effective as it should be to reach out to everyone, not only the MDAs, but as I said, to the general public.
Competition is another challenge faced by the corporation in the business of printing.
Is still very high competition from the private sector. And so we operate, much as we operate as a public enterprise, we operate on commercial principles. And commercial principles mean that we have got to do business as other business people do it. For us, it is business unusual as a government entity.
Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation was established in 1902 to publicize government information through special gazette. But the current paradigm shift demands operation dynamism for sustainability. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC News.
Higher institutions of learning are grappling with numerous cases of examination malpractices due to alleged low quality of students who enter the university with high points after cheating UNEB examinations. While presenting before the Education Policy Review Commission, the Dean, School of Health Sciences, Makerere University School of Medicine, Dr. Kamba Pakayo Foduri, expressed the need for government to reduce the rampant cheating and improve on the quality of students. We have more in this story.
Poor quality education in the country is attributed to non-compliance to minimum standards and having primary and secondary education emphasizing grades instead of competencies and creative thinking. At university, lack of standardization of academic programs and poor communication skills by students, both written and oral, were cited.
Empirical evidence we have either conducted to find out whether most of these students who have no interest or have low interest in studying are either from public school or private school.
Deans from the Faculty of Health Sciences and Faculty of Dentistry, Makerere University School of Medicine, while presenting before the Education Policy Review Commission, said cases of examination irregularities and malpractice are stretching the operations.
And we think this is a spillover from primary. The culture has been entrenched in primary and secondary school. I think it had 200 cases in one degree alone. For one semester, 200 cases in examination malpractice. Even in the college, it is so bad, and it is overstretching us. Instead of doing productive work, we spend time because we have to give them due process.
A researcher of the commission, Atugonza Rashid, expressed the need to understand why the School of Medicine subjects students to pre-entry examinations.
Respect recommendations on how best students can be prepared, take up such courses at the university. Because when you say you're putting a pre-entry exam on such courses, yet we need more doctors, it means you're closing out the number of potential learners who have taken up these courses and proper.
The Dean Faculty of Dentistry, Annette Kutesa, said the school realized that students are lacking in the required competences to be enrolled in those disciplines.
Some of the students who come with A's may not necessarily be the best. So if we could curb rampant cheating and malpractices in exams, and of course improve on preparedness, it will go a long way in addressing this issue.
Meanwhile, National Identification Registration Authority recommends the Ministry of Education adapts to the use of NIN to eliminate double counting of children.
The registration at the S41 and then S6 and then S whatever, where there is a constant number that I can run through my education system. 7 to 19, we have 9 million NINs. But EMIS has only 100,000 NINs. So there's a dichotomy. The worst case scenarios, we had teachers registering as parents, whereby one teacher is a parent of 500 children.
The Commission also wanted to know how NIRA department can support the education sector, proposing putting in place education department at NIRA to track education of the child, health and sponsorship. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Kampala.
Now, formation of farmer groups has been mooted as the alternative way to increase the penetration rate of the costly smart agricultural technologies in the developing world. Exhibitors of the technologies who were at the just concluded EIMA International Agricultural Machinery in Italy indicate that the expensive nature of a single unit of the equipment is the reason sub-Saharan Africa lags behind in productivity. The convergence of individuals is touted as the means to pool adequate resources.
That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 20th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music your passion, Africa your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash hands with soap, it means clean hands for all. This is a message from the National Hand Washing Secretariat.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude. It's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold out much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe? That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 20th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music your passion, Africa your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel.
Welcome back. Now, the flooding along Oluyu Parkwatch Road that earlier on cut off travellers using Parkwatch Bridge has resumed as Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA, swung into action earlier today. While confirming the update to UBC TV earlier this evening, Resident District Commissioner Pakwach Paul Eseru said no life has been lost since part of the destroyed road has been reinstated by UNRA. Water levels at Pakwach started rising at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, a situation that prompted leaders of Pakwach to caution people using Pakwach Bridge until late afternoon when the banks of the River Taji burst, affecting transport. Sports news now, and Uganda Bodybuilding and Fitness Association has finalized plans for the 2022 Mr. Uganda contest to be hosted at Mount Zion Hotel in Kampala. Our reporter has the details.
Close to 96 athletes are expected to grace the 2022 Mr. Uganda Bodybuilding contest due 3rd December at Zion Hotel in Kampala, and will for the first time have a national outlook.
We have managed to expand the competition. Before we was having only Central Region competing by themselves. Now we managed to give the opportunity to the rest of other regions also to have a chance to compete into their regions. Remember, those regions, they didn't know, some of them, they didn't know that there's Mr. Uganda, there's Mr. Kampala. So this time around, they have managed to have competition within their region so that after competing in their regions, they can manage to come and compete in Mr. Uganda. Then after Mr. Uganda, those finalists will be representing Uganda on international level.
It will be graced by seasonal campaigners who, in the absence of reigning champion John Kalitwa, are upbeat.
It's all about conditioning. I've managed to condition very well. My diet have been on point, and yeah, I believe because muscle volume and size have increased. So I hope for the best.
Former World Physique champion Trevon Edwards, accompanied by women experts, is the lead judge and will also tutor Ugandans on key aspects of the sport.
Mr. Trevon Edwards from the US, 9 times world champion in the men's physique, is going to conduct a judges seminar and give us some more techniques and maybe brush and dust whatever we had to give it to the modern.
The championship, where excellence will attract several prizes, but importantly representation at international engagements, is for both men and women in bodybuilding, men's physique and women's wellness. The best in the land, including Lameka Muanga, Godfrey Lubega.
And that report brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company on sign language. It has been Mugalu Mohammed, and I am Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. Catch you at 10 for our second and final edition of News Tonight.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good evening, it's You Health Chat. My name is Sophia Matovu, and thank you for taking time off to join me on the show tonight. Now, the 17th of November, the world over, is recognized as World Prematurity Day. With me in studio to shed more light on this topic of discussion is none other than Dr. Jessica Nachibuka, who is a consultant and a specialist when it comes to babies. She has a thing for babies.